Andrew Tate, a genius, a billionaire, a playboy, a philanthropist, a ruthless, uncompromising truth teller.
I'm ready to kill. I don't do this for fun. This is not a sport to me. I don't enjoy it. I hate training. I hate fighting. This is I was born for this. I have no choice. I'm in there to kill. That's it. Pain. That's all I know.
What about your last fight tonight? What's going to happen?
I don't care. Put someone in front of me. Put someone in front of me. That's all I have to say.
Who claims to be fighting the system itself. And on top of that, a former kickboxing world champion. There's no messing in the business. But somehow, that image slowly collapsed. A man who couldn't even beat a rookie influencer under boxing rules. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old is not a 22-year-old. He gave it his absolute all and had no excuses. He admitted the loss, showed respect, and accepted the outcome. So how did it all go so wrong? Let's break it down. Andrew Tate once had an impressive combat sports background. He made a career for himself in kickboxing and spent years grinding, training, and competing alongside his brother Tristan. He truly believed combat sports were his future. For over a decade, he dedicated his life to fighting, discipline, and athletic development. Old interviews show him confidently speaking about world titles, training camps, and his fighting style. But one detail was always strangely unclear: which organizations actually awarded those titles. That information never fully surfaced. There were clips, training footage, flashy speeches, and long monologues. Enough to convince people something significant had happened, or at least enough to make them believe it had. When you look closely at his kickboxing record, one conclusion becomes hard to avoid. The majority of his opponents were not elite. He had solid fundamentals, no doubt, but he never competed against the highest level fighters in the sport. Eventually, worsening eye problems forced him into retirement. That chapter closed quietly. Tate then drifted into a completely new life online. Over the years, he built an empire through digital media, controversial opinions, and provocative content. He became one of the most talked about figures on the internet, and then, for reasons known only to him, he decided to step back into combat sports, not kickboxing, but influencer boxing. His opponent was younger, inexperienced, but physically gifted and actively training. On paper, most people still believed Tate would dominate. He had experience, he had confidence, he had the aura. During the build-up, Tate completely controlled the verbal exchanges. His intelligence, communication skills, and psychological pressure overwhelmed his opponent. That was his natural environment. But talk is not fighting. As fight week approached, something felt off. The confidence didn't look the same. The body language shifted. The presence that once felt intimidating started to crack. When the fight finally happened, everything people expected simply didn't show up. Tate did nothing. No combinations, no control, no timing. He clinched, stalled, and looked lost. It was as if years of combat experience vanished overnight. This wasn't just a bad performance, it was shocking. Tate had kickboxing experience. He had MMA exposure, yet he was beaten by someone with basic fundamentals, someone who lacked refined technique, distance management, and ring IQ. And that raised an uncomfortable truth. Tate thrives against people who don't fight back. Against followers, against people with no combat background. But once he faced someone with even minimal training, the illusion collapsed. This fight put his sporting legacy in serious danger. Not because he lost fighters lose all the time, but because it exposed the gap between the image and the reality. The myth of the unbeatable Top G didn't survive real competition. And that leaves one final question. Was the legacy ever real to begin with? Drop your opinion in the comments, subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and if you made it this far, smash the like button.
Imagine one day you're sitting in Paris, you're sitting there having a fucking coffee, and terrorists roll through with AKs, and the person next to you has their brains blown out. You're gonna stand there and be like, waiting to die like a motherfucker. I'm gonna be like, bang, oh, I've seen that before, okay, boom, boom, duck and dive and take one terrorist out, next, get the AK, go Rambo. I don't play games.